Building a house can be one of the most expensive and stressful periods in a person's life, especially when things go wrong. For the past 4 years, many people have been discovering that when it comes to getting builders to repair faulty work, they're on their own, despite having paid for home warranty insurance they thought would cover them. But since the collapse of HIH, things have changed. That's when the so-called last resort system was introduced as a way of attracting insurers back into the market. Now consumers are discovering it was done at the expense of their own protection. Instead, they're left to the justice system, in some cases for years battling highly paid legal teams funded by insurance companies, while still waiting for their homes to be finished. Now consumers and builders as well are demanding change. Ben Knight reports.
2 years ago, the owners of this property in Port Melbourne terminated their builder's contract. It's looked like this ever since. The owners say it should never have got this far. This site used to be the Corfiatis family home. It was supposed to become 3 new townhouses for the parents and the 2 sons. But when work began dragging on, they got worried.
There's just some fundamental mistakes. I'm not a builder, but I can't understand how somebody could carry on like this and have all the professionals supervise a job like this as well.
2 years later, the Corfiatis family find themselves still in the justice system, having spent more than $400,000 on legal bills, with no homes and no end in sight. Yet the family was insured. They had to be. You can't build a home in Victoria, New South Wales, Tasmania or Western Australia without taking out builder's warranty insurance.
We thought the insurance covered us for incomplete works, defective works, and obviously if the works were not completed.
Most people think that warranty insurance is a warranty policy, like their car policy, and they go to claim on it and find they can't. They go into the legal system. Some don't come out of it, without being destroyed, of course.
As a builder, Phil Dwyer can't start a job unless his client has paid for a policy.
We know that we're conning them. We've got to have it to be able to build. We hand it over, and there's not too many of us that are prepared to say that this piece of paper is useless. If they turn around and say, well, hey, why are you selling us a dud policy? How can we justify that?
Even the Master Builders Association, which sells the policies to its own members, doesn't like it.
It's my experience that the consumer doesn't know that the insurance that they're purchasing gives them little protection in the general scheme of things.
People are being misled by what it covers. Most consumers are horrified, we found, when they discovered, unfortunately, when they were already in trouble and needed the support of this protection scheme, that it was inadequate.
In Victoria, New South Wales, Tasmania and Western Australia, builder's warranty insurance is what's called a last resort scheme. That is, if your builder is still alive, still around and still in business, you're not covered for defective work, even if it's so bad the entire job needs demolition. All of which means insurance companies are carrying a lot less risk than they were when it was a first resort system.
Their risk is, well, there's hardly any risk. Again, the builder must die, disappear or go insolvent to actually for the consumer to call on the insurance company to come good. And they only have to come good if there's structural problems after a 6-year period.
And the payouts are capped at $200,000. The system was set up after the collapse of HIH to provide some kind of insurance at a time when almost no company wanted to touch the building industry. So governments had to make it more attractive, and they did it by capping the payouts and by reducing the risk. And the strategy worked. Insurers are right back in the building industry. And since 2002, they've collected hundreds of millions of dollars in premiums. Yet the claims settled number in the tens of thousands.
I guess that's why we now have nearly 7 insurers in the market, where we only had 1 at the collapse of HIH. And so it obviously the insurance market or industry considers it a lucrative product.
If the builder is still alive and still around, consumers can try to have the case mediated. But if no agreement can be reached, the only option consumers have left is the justice system, where, at least in Victoria, more people are finding themselves. The Corfiatis family's lawyer told them their case was too complicated for mediation anyway, and they should go straight to the tribunal.
We're taking on multi-billion-dollar insurers. Absolutely. Deep pockets, no shortage of money.
They're suing the builder, now retired, who denies the work is faulty. They're suing the architect, who was also hired to oversee the project. They're suing the building inspector and the engineer. The case is dragging on, and all the while the Corfiatis family is paying 3 lots of rent.
The strategy against us is pretty much a strategy all insurers use against everybody, and that is wear people down, try and get them to expend as much money as they can until they get to a point where they need to either capitulate or possibly, walk away.
But he says that won't be happening.
I went to school across the road from that site. My folks have worked pretty hard all their life for 30 years to keep that site, so no, selling is not an option. Getting my father and mother to sign on the dotted line to sign, I think you're going to have to virtually kill them to do it.
Why?
Because they have got no understanding about what's going on, why they're involved in this, they're nearly 80 years old, why the insurance isn't assisting, why that house is sitting there like that, and why I would then be going up to them and say, look, you need to sell. It wouldn't happen, won't happen. It's not my choice anyway.
This is not an isolated case. In fact, 2 years ago, the Australian Consumers Association did its own research into builders' warranty insurance.
Well, basically, our view is that home warranty insurance makes a mockery of consumer protection. It's not worth the paper that it's written on. It's completely useless, and particularly the last resort clause, makes it a junk insurance.
The 7:30 report asked Victoria's acting finance minister, John Lenders, whether the Corfiatis family situation represented good consumer protection. In a statement, a spokesman said that the Bracks government had acted on a number of levels to address the matter, that it had established the Builders Warranty Insurance Forum to address issues that arise in the builders' warranty insurance market, and that it was continuing to work to improve the administration of the existing scheme. And finally, that it was trying to introduce clearer information about builders' warranty insurance in standard form contracts.
They'll listen to you, they'll sympathise with you, that's it.
Yet in Tasmania and New South Wales, inquiries into the scheme are underway. Among the critics has been the New South Wales Master Builders Association, but not the Housing Industry Association, which itself is a significant broker of home warranty insurance. Phil Dwyer says that's a conflict of interest.
Of course they should be opposing it. They're supposed to be a builder representative for our industry. They're very powerful within government, and their lobbying efforts have been very, very successful, and they're very, very good at it. However, in regard to this matter, they have been very ordinary.
It doesn't leave us with a conflict of interest. We provide facilities and services across the entire ambit of the residential building industry for both the benefit of our builder members and for the consumer.
Critics say the 4 states should follow the Queensland model, where it's up to the insurer, not the consumer, to make sure faulty work is fixed. But the Housing Industry Association says consumers won't necessarily be better off.
If the impact is a doubling of the cost, so that 99.75% of people having building work have to incur another $1,500 or $2,000 costs for that to occur, well then the community might decide that that's a good way to go. But housing affordability is very, very important.
But that's $2,000 the Corfiatis family would gladly have spent.
We didn't make any commercial decisions to get into some sort of risky business. Building a domestic home is a normal, ordinary thing every Australian does. It's nothing new, and they expect it to be done. You expect to sign a contract and to have that work completed to a satisfactory standard. All the statutory obligations in the world, checks and balances, have meant absolutely nothing for the last 3 years for my family, and I'm sure for a lot of other Victorians.
When is insurance not insurance? Ben Knight with that report.